You're listening to the Postcast presented by the Locked On Senators podcast. After a 2-1 road victory in Columbus, Tim Stützle, it's the game winner. I'm Ross Levitan. Alongside me, as always, Brandon Pillar and Lalim's Martian. Pilsy, 1 minute left. Senators are up a goal. What's going through your mind?
Well, what was going through my mind is I don't want Brady Tkachuk to ice it yet again. Although, to be fair, he did get very close with that soft chip shot. I thought that was going in for sure, but the boys held on. And that last line for the Columbus Blue Jackets, there's actually a decent amount of firepower on there. So it was pretty impressive they were able to hold on to this win. And man, finally, Tim Stutzle gets a meaningful goal that actually matters in a game, and it's a game winner and a highlight reel goal nonetheless.
4 points in 5 games now since Tim Stützle turned 20 years old. Martian, walk us through that game winner highlight reel stuff.
He was absolutely flying. Tim Stützle, I've never seen him really look like that before, where he... And I'm not trying to compare him to McDavid by any means, but he scored a McDavid-esque goal. That was McDavid's style, where he has all the speed in the world and his hands are moving at the same pace. That second line is looking really good with the two of those guys together, Formenton and Stützle. So I was really happy with that goal, and to be able to finish it like that the way he did, that gave him so much confidence. You could just tell moving forward in the game, he was continued that speed, and he tried to break off a few more breakaways and things like that. He was really flying. So I was super happy with his game tonight. He was probably, definitely the best player for the Sens tonight.
Yeah, I'm with Kevin. He was dancing out there on the ice. And that's why I love Tim Stutzle at the center ice position, because he's able to use his feet. He's such a good skater, and he's able to carry the puck through the neutral zone with ease. And yeah, he basically split the D there, and he had to really turn the jets on to get fully past both those defensemen. And I'm pretty sure Zach Werenski was one of them. So, that's a good skater too. So Tim Stutzle, and then he gets the deke and goes top shelf with the backhand. That was just absolutely beautiful. We were waiting for Timmy to get one of those goals, and now that he's got that in his back pocket, I agree with you. I think he's going to be more confident, and it was yet another game where the top line was, I don't want to say flat, because they've got a lot of assignments, and the top line is never an easy job in the NHL, but this second line has really shown that secondary scoring, it is possible from this team. Maybe third and fourth line scoring, not quite there yet, but hey, we got first line scoring pretty much all season, and now we're getting second line scoring, so things are progressing here.
And another goal from the back end as well.
Yeah,
huge.
Zoob.
Right off the bat, Tyler Ennis, one of the best to ever lace him up, gets an assist 3 minutes after being a healthy scratch in the last game. You talk about assignments for the top line. It's the Ovechkin line in Washington, then the Crosby line tonight. You're up against another tough test on the second half of back-to-back. So I'm with you in the secondary scoring. I was saying the irony that Connor Brown gets out of the lineup and Alex Formenton picks up, if not accelerates, the scoring after that. But boys, we've gotten too far into this show without talking about Anton Forsberg, my Sens Central standout, to kick us off here. If he doesn't make those 2 highlight reel saves in the first period, this might be a completely different game. So stick taps to Forsberg on this night. Pilsy, who do you have as yours?
Well, Martian, I think I know your Sens Central standout, so I'll leave it for you as the guest. I'm willing to do that. And I'm going to we talked about this before we started, guys, and you might laugh, but since the faceoffs was my biggest concern in last game, it was absolutely atrocious. I'm giving a Sens Central standout to Dylan Gambrell.
Yeah, you are.
You got to. Okay, and before everyone laughs, 12 for 14 in the faceoff dot, 86%. And look, we know Dylan Gambrell is a defensive type player. Okay, DJ Smith puts him in for the defensive zone draws, 11 for 13. That is absolutely dynamite from your bottom 6 guys. And we talked about it. Anyone is going to have to pick up the slack in the faceoff dot, and Dylan Gambrell stepped up tonight.
I love that pick from you, Kelsey.
I knew you would, Martian. I knew you would. That's your guy. Your guy.
Yeah, Dylan Gambrell. You can't say he doesn't get enough roses for what he does out there from this group, at least. So, nice pick, Pilsy, and thanks for leaving me the easy one. Definitely going to go with Tim Stützle. I already kind of touched on everything he's been doing here, but Not a ton of ice time tonight, but the ice time that he did get, he made a big difference with it. So I don't even know with like time on ice to like puck on his stick time. I'm sure it was quite high for him. Like as far as league,
we need an advanced stat for that, eh?
He had the puck on his stick almost every shift that he was out there, and he was in the middle of the ice with tons of speed, and his hands were going tonight, like I said. So I think he only got credit for one shot on goal, which seems weird, but he was creating tons of chances.
100% shooting success.
Yeah, and obviously that highlight reel goal is really, really nice to see out of Tim Stützle. So he's my standout.
Yeah, that's a good choice there as well. You'll see that on the highlight of the night as well. I need a word from you, Pilsy, though, on Forsberg. We kind of jumped off him real quick, but he was enough that we should go back and give him some more love.
Oh, yeah, goalie-friendly show, you know it. And, hey, he had a big save. It was a Sens power play, and I think it was one of the Ovs, Gabrikov, for Columbus. There's quite a few of them there now these days, but it was a good chance for them on the PK, and Forsberg stood up tall. And, hey, and this is what I was saying, like, Forsberg, I'm sure he knew he was getting this start. It's up against a lower team in the standings, let's be honest, and he performed very well. Like, he wasn't just tossed into the fire here, and that's what I think Forsberg can do on any given night if he's given the proper preparation, not 2 hours before puck drop. So I think this was a great game by Forsberg, and if you're the Senators, especially the forwards and defensemen, like, you got to be looking back there now, and you're like, okay, now we're at a point where our goalies are giving us a chance to win night in and night out, so we need to really reward them for that, right? And hey, 2-1 squeaker of a win, but 2 points look the same in the standings. So this is a hell of a game by the Sens, and it's nice to finish off that road trip 1-1-1 like we thought they would, eh?
Third road trip that's lasted 3 games. 1-1-1 has been the answer on all 3 of them. But it's good to go into the work week feeling good after a win. And if you're driving to work on a Monday morning, remember you can catch the Postcast live after each and every Ottawa Senators game on our YouTube channel. And we've got lots of comments here, and I've seen a few on Eric Brandstrom, who on paper took over as the number 1 right defenseman, with Jacob Bernard-Docker being a scratch. Now, we're going to go with bumps and bruises, right, for him?
Got to think that's the case there, right? Like, he didn't play himself out of the lineup, in my opinion. DJ did make a few comments about guys having bumps and bruises, but he also did mention that some of the changes were by design. So let's just give him the benefit of the doubt and say that JBD was not by design and that he is a little banged up. Gotta hope that's the case, because he was playing quite well, and you guys talked about it. We've talked about it, I think, on the Postcast too. He's had a few good games in a row. I don't think there's any reason to take him out there.
Pilsy, how'd you think Brandstrom did in his replacement? He's been having a few good games. I thought he was all right.
Oh, yeah, absolutely. And I think this is a scenario too, guys, where if this isn't a back-to-back scenario, I don't think DJ Smith takes JBD out of the lineup. And like Victor Mete hasn't played in quite some time. So I think that's just DJ being like, all right, back-to-back, now we know our schedule. We know games are going to be jam-packed, and I'm going to give JBD a night off here and get Victor Mete. And so I don't have a huge problem with that, especially with Brandstrom being able to move up and be the top right-hand defenseman there. Like, it's great to see him have this opportunity. We've been clamoring for this to happen, and finally it's happening. And Brandstrom is making sure he stays up there. And I think he had a really good game, and him and Chabot are starting to look like a pretty formidable pair as a top pair, which is nice to see from your young guys.
Cole Moorhead in the comments mentioning Nick Holden's game calls elite as well. That pair with Artem Zub did a great job tonight, shutting down any sort of offensive attempts from the Blue Jackets. So I love to see this defensive unit start to grow. And as it gets younger, I'm gaining more and more confidence going forward, because Lassie's been great down in Belleville, although he's on a bit of an off time right now. I don't know if you saw him and Roby Jarventi at the ODRs in Toronto, and they're almost 2 weeks between games, but Lassie showed well, and now you got JBD and Brandstrom making an impact, and we know what Zub is. Hopefully they can get him at a reasonable term here coming up after next season. But I don't know. You're starting to see the skeleton get some meat on it, and that's without the top line, as we said, maybe playing their best hockey in the last couple games. But, hey, it's a win, and it's on the road, and the Senators now head home for a date with the Buffalo Sabres, a team that beat them just last week. Pilsy, what's your early thoughts before we get to Locked On Senators tomorrow morning?
Well, I mean, if you're the Sens coming off this win and going back to Buffalo, you got to be feeling pretty good about yourself, because that was that game against Buffalo was a very winnable game. And now I've been saying it this whole road trip, right? The process is there, just the results aren't. Well, the process was here and the results were. So let's do a little switcheroo on the results for this time for the Buffalo Sabres. And I think the Sens have a good chance to get a W here. And especially, when you're able to win that second game of a back-to-back, and especially when the first game of the back-to-back was an OT loss, like you can build off that. That's some good momentum going into next week. So I'm fired up for more Sens hockey, and bring on the Sabres.
I don't know if you guys saw Craig Anderson, full participant in practice.
I was going to bring that up.
Makes me so sad. No fans. He
was supposed to be out for the entire year, I thought. Like, wasn't that reported that he was?
He was supposed to be on long-term IR, but I guess
it was long-term. Think of it. Yeah, it was like late October.
In my opinion, I'd actually rather see Anderson come in, because I did not like playing against Michael Hauser.
No,
which is hilarious. Yeah.
So Caden Cowling writes in, forget who's starting for Buffalo. Who starts for the Ottawa Senators? We'll start with you, Pills.
This is interesting. I think you go back to Murray, because, like Ross, I understood your sentiment of getting Murray back in, but Matt Murray
just played back-to-back games this weekend.
Yeah, Matt Murray is not Connor Hellebuyck. I mean, it's no offense to Murray, but
no, I get it. And Forsberg played well. I guess I was a little gun shy after maybe Forsberg's last start not going the way anyone would have liked. But hey, he was awesome tonight.
But I think you give Matt Murray a chance here, because as long as he's healthy, and I mean that's a day-to-day, hour-to-hour thing to look at, is Matt Murray's health here. But if Matt Murray's healthy, he's good to go. He feels good. Get him in that game. Give him another chance to kind of make up for what happened in his last game, and I think that'd be the right move for sure.
So after that game, it's the first of a 4-game homestand. The Carolina Hurricanes, who the Sens beat early in December, they're coming to town next. Then the Anaheim Ducks and Edmonton Oilers, who finally got a win in the Battle of Alberta last night, and it wasn't looking that way the whole time. So that was a good game, but hopefully they still have couple demons from the Sensing they got over in Edmonton. So that's good homestand coming up here. And there's going to be a lot of them, because they only go for one game after all that to the island, and then they come back for 4 more. So 8 of the next 9 games will be at the Canadian Tire Center. You got to think the Sens need to take advantage. Bills, we used to talk about all the time, and again, another road win tonight. Remember the first, 40 road games for DJ Smith? Not a whole lot of wins away from home ice. So we're starting to see a trend here that as this team matures, maybe it's not so much the X's and O's, and it's just the growth of these players playing within his system.
Yeah.
Although a couple icings tonight.
Yeah, a couple icings tonight. And what was a big problem? Actually, it was the flip side. I was going to say Timmy wasn't scoring on the road, but he was scoring on the road. He wasn't scoring at home. But now I think, look, Timmy's feeling confident, and when he's playing center and Formanton and whoever is on that right wing, it doesn't matter at this point. Formanton and Stutzle are cooking right now. So I'm excited for what we got here, and it's just so nice to be able to see the boys get a win and finally get a reward for all their hard work they're doing here.
Liam's Martian on Twitter. Everyone go follow him there. You can follow the show at Sens Central or on Instagram, lockedon.senators. The Locked On Senators podcast is free and available wherever you download your podcast, Monday through Friday. Final thoughts, Martian. What are you doing at the water cooler tomorrow? What are you saying about this Sens win?
Well, one of my coworkers is a big Bruins fan. I don't really have much on him right now, but we do like to bask in Sens wins together. So at the water cooler with him, I'll definitely be talking about how great the young core looks. And guys, how exciting is it that we're watching these guys right now, like play solid hockey and they're all growing. We're going to be able to watch these players, these same guys for years to come, right? Like Formanton, Stützle, the whole top line, Brandstrom now, I would consider him in on that, Shabbat, all these guys, like we get to know these players and really enjoy the growth of them, because they're all just going to get better.
Yeah, and you hope there's 4 guys who went to North Dakota in the mix there too, from JBD to Sanderson 100%. To Pinto, hopefully the K train as well. So yeah, it's gonna be great to see them all come together here. Ridley Gregg doing his thing up in the WHL. So then the next challenge is how can the rest of the guys grow? Because how excited were we all of the start of this season, the end of last, how the first line's set. Remember, it used to be we had 3 third lines, right? Pillsy, they'd have to spread out the talent so much. And now, not only do you have the top line, but you're starting to see chemistry form between Formenton and Tim Stützle. And now you're only missing 1 rather than 2 pieces in the top 6. So I don't think there's a player who's accelerated, in my opinion, and no stranger to acceleration, Alex Formenton. But I used to be like, okay, great gritty winger, can kill penalties. And now, could he be on a second power play unit? He's starting to get a couple touches. We'll see. But the Senders could certainly use a little extra dash of skill with their second unit, who I thought moved the puck around a little bit better. But 0 for 3 the Sens are with the man advantage. They're starting to cool down. They had that great stretch, right? As the special teams and goaltending go, so do wins and losses typically in the NHL. But what do you think the Sens need to do here, Pillsy, on the power play to get 1, 2, or maybe a third?
Yeah, I didn't notice, I thought their power play was just mediocre today. I don't know about you guys, but I didn't think it was horrible, but obviously it wasn't great. So I think just some tinkering around, and getting Formenton on that second unit is a big boost. You get a little bit of speed, a little bit of offensive talent there. And hey, the emergence of Brandstrom is going to be a big part of this power play succeeding too, because Thomas Chabot couldn't be the only defenseman that's dealing with the power play here. So I'm glad Brandstrom finally is picking things up here, and DJ Smith is starting to trust him.
Yeah, so we'll see. I'm enjoying. Sorry, Martian, you had something on that, right?
No, yeah, just that that first unit, I thought on a few of those power plays really struggled to enter the zone yet again. That was just a big thing. Once they got in, it was getting cleared quickly, and that's if they got in. They usually kill, a minute by themselves, just trying to figure out how to get in the zone. And then, that's the way it goes, but they gotta work on that.
Well, tonight it's masked with a win. The first time for the Ottawa Senators in 10 games where they've allowed less than 2 goals against. That was, of course, only 2 home games ago, but back on December 11th when Ottawa shut out the Tampa Bay Lightning 4-0. So great to see the decor hold tight. Anton Forsberg, fantastic in goal. And Tim Stützle earning a top spot on the highlight reel. Woo. Great for a Sens fan to enjoy a victory. Going on to a Monday morning. Hope you catch us on the Locked On Senders podcast. Should be out around 2 or 3 in the afternoon for your drive home on a Monday afternoon. For Laleem's Martian and Brandon Pillar, I'm Ross Levitan, and this has been a Senators victory, 2-1 on the road against the Columbus Blue